Hello. I'm just checking to see if this is going live. This is my first time using this particular program, so we'll just give it a few seconds to see if this is actually working, because I've not used this program before, so I don't want to muck anything up. I think last time I did this I pressed live and spoke to myself for an hour. So we'll just see how we go. I'll just check on my other device whether I'm doing everything right. Let me just have a look. Oh, turn myself down here. Oh, it looks like it's working. Oh, you can hear me through it, and my device won't turn itself down. There we go. So there we go. We've got that going. Hopefully this will all work out. Well, welcome. My name's Rebecca Nutley. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia. And I thought I'd just jump on today and do a really quick live because we've got so much going on this month that I thought I'd just jump on and have some fun and let you know, have a little bit of a craft and let you know what's happening. So just a little bit about me, because I've not done many videos here on YouTube. So I'm a mum of three. I've been doing Stampin' Up! For about a year, just as a bit of a hobby on the side. As you can see, I've started my collection behind me and just sort of been collecting my own little things and making cards for family and friends and sending them out. But along the way, I've met some amazing people and we've grown our own little group of friends and become our own little team. So it's become a real little business for me now, and I absolutely love it. I love being able to create something that's my own, love being able to share things with people, and just being able to have some time and being able to spend time and enjoy being able to give things to people that I've personally created myself. I always wanted a little business that was something that I could give back to people, but also something that I didn't have to necessarily come up with the foundation of creativity. And that's why I love Stampin' Up!, because everything that they have is the foundation, and then I get to explore my own creativity from that and enjoy it with all my friends. I do have two particular friends that I Zoom with quite regularly, and they got me addicted, so I do blame them. But at the same time, we have so much fun together, and we've grown really close and have a great friendship because of it. So I'm very grateful for that. So today I thought what I'd do is I would show you a new product that's out, which is the Eden's Garden collection. So this is a product that's going to be coming out in the January to June mini catalogue, but we do have early access to it. So it's available from now and until January, and then it will be released in the January to June catalogue. So it's just an extension of being able to get it early and be able to have fun with it. And what better month to get it than November, and I'll explain why shortly. So I thought we'd have some fun with it, but what I'll do is I'll just change my screen here so that you can see what we're going to play with. So here we've got this beautiful stamp set, the Eden's Garden. So as you can see, it's got a lot of florals and sort of like fernery kind of stamps in it. But it's also, with this stamp, it's like multi-layered, I would say. I'm not exactly sure what they call that, but it's got a lot of texture to it in the sense that different tones, which is beautiful. And I love the font in the sentiments. I'm a big font girl, so I love the different fonts in here, and just something simple. You know, we've had a lot go on in the last couple of years, so it's just nice to send a card that's, you know, dear friend, how are you? Sending you some hugs, hello there. This one here's, my heart is tied to yours, tug if you need anything, which is just quite cute. You know, everybody needs you every now and then, so it's nice to let them know that you're here for them. And let's celebrate everything. So it's an all-rounder occasion stamp set, which I love. And it comes with some beautiful paper. So it comes with 12 by 12 paper. I have already cut mine down. I cut mine down into card front sizes. But these are the beautiful papers. Now, being for like a green theme, a green and gold theme, so these are the beautiful beautiful papers that you've got. Now you've got like a, I don't know if you can see it perfectly on there, but they've got like little gold speckled dots through there, and then you've got like an sort of like an ombre look, a bit more of a washed look on the back there. And then you've got this one here, it's got the gold through it, which I love, and then like a crisscrossy texture. This reminds me like of a quilt or a carpet kind of textured look on the back. This is one of my favorites, just very simple, the vine that goes all the way through in gold on the Evening Evergreen, so a deep rich one. And then you've got the soft succulent and Evening Evergreen on the back. So it's predominantly soft succulent and Evening Evergreen, which is our in colours for this year. This one's a bit more soft, and this one shows you that tone on tone textures with the colours in there. And then this one here, oh, I didn't show you the back of that one. So that one's got the dot on the back, and this one's got like a splotch on the back of this one. So they're very great for like background papers. You can use them in any kind of card. You could just add one other color to them. You could leave them green. You could add florals to them. This one's got a like leaf pattern on it, I suppose you could say, and this goes with one of our embossing folders that we have too. So they've Stampin' Up, what I love about Stampin' Up is they do match a lot of things. So everything, all our colors match. They try and match a lot of the patterns through it, so everything can sort of go together. So there's some beautiful papers, and with those papers you can make some just gorgeous simple cards. One of the simple cards that I've made using just the paper, just to feature the paper, is something simple like this. Just putting a block of color and then just a nice sentiment on it, which is just amazing. But what I thought I'd do today is feature the stamp set, because I absolutely love this stamp set. Another thing that they did come out with was this cotton paper. Now it comes in this soft succulent, and it also comes in Evening Evergreen. It's kind of like, it's like tissue paper, but a little bit different. It's softer and a little bit more, it's not quite as thin. So it's you can rub it and it's not going to tear. So you've got more give to do more things with it, which I like. And I've done, I would have shown you my beautiful card that I made, but I accidentally poured tea all over it. So unfortunately it was a bin card, which was very sad. But you can run these through embossing folders. You can give them a bit of a scrunch and then open it up and use it, you know, scrunched on your cards. I've seen some beautiful cards like that. So if you head over to my blog, which I'll pin in the comments below, you'll be able to see lots of different cards that I've made with this and using the different textures. So this is amazing and versatile card that comes, paper that comes with that. So what we're going to do is just make a really simple card with the Eden's Garden today. So rather than go with green, I thought we'd change it up a little bit. One of my favorite colors from Stampin' Up is the Rich Razzleberry. So we're going to do a Rich Razzleberry card. So we're going to just cut a cardstock out. Cut a card front out. So with our cardstock, you just have the A4 cardstock. If you just cut it in half, whether you cut it in half this way or whether you cut it in half long ways to do like a tent fold card, doesn't matter how you do it, depends what kind of style card you like. You get 2 cards out of one piece of cardstock, so you're not wasting any cardstock there. And our trimmer has a blade for cutting, and it also has a scorer blade. So we're just going to go back and score in half again, and we'll just fold that in half, and there is our card base. Nice and simple. Now, I always have prepared earlier pieces of cardstock that just can, in white, that can fit right on top there with a little bit of a border, and that's what we're going to use today. And we can also use one of those on the insert so that they can have room to write inside, because obviously this is a bit dark to write on. So we're going to need 2 of those. So these measurements here for this one, you're looking as cut in half, and then you're just cutting this a little bit smaller, a couple of mils smaller all the way around. So this card front here is about, I'll put the measurements in the description below, but I use a card template specifically done by Kylie Bertucci, so I can actually link her her card templates in there, and they're amazing. They were a lifesaver when I first started doing cards, because it made such a difference. I would cut so many different measurements and it just wouldn't make sense to me, unfortunately, and I would cut, then I'd cut too little and I'd have to start again, and then it just made too many mistakes. So having the measurements preset and written down for you makes such a difference to those. So I'll put that in the link below as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on our card front, and then we'll glue it down onto our card later. So I'll just pop that aside. So we're going to use our card front and our stamp set. Now, because we're stamping, I'm just going to put a little piece of paper underneath this, because we're going to be stamping off the edge, so we just don't want to get it onto our front here. Now, the stamp set also comes along with these beautiful dies. Now, I always put the dies inside, everyone stores them differently, but it comes along with these beautiful dies. Now, we've got these wreath looking dies, a little bit of foliage here. We've also got this edge die right here, and a sentiment die. So when you buy a bundle of a stamp set and a die set together, it's always 10% off. I shouldn't say always. Most bundles, if they're put in as a bundle, it's 10% off. So I always try and get them when they're a bundle set before they separate them in the catalogue. So when they first come out, they come out as a bundle, and it's always good to take advantage of that 10% off. Now, as I was saying earlier, this month is a great month because if you ordered the Eden's Garden Suite, which is the bundle, the papers, and the embellishments, which is just to bling out that beautiful card, it is a cost of $144 for the whole suite. But at the moment in November, you can join Stampin' Up for only $130. And you would get $235 worth of product. So not only are you already getting $14 off this pack, but you also have another $90 to spend and free shipping for just $130. And you can choose anything else in the catalogue. So you can choose anything valued at $235 Australian, and only pay $130 and get free shipping as well. So it's just an amazing deal at the moment. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I don't want to join Stampin' Up, I don't want to sell anything, I don't want to be a demonstrator. That's totally fine. There's no penalties if you join and you decide, actually, this isn't for me, I don't want to sell. You just, after a couple of months of getting an amazing discount of 20% for a couple of months, if it's not for you, you just drop back and become my customer again. There is nothing wrong. There is no penalties. There's no commitments. There's nothing to say that you can't just become a customer again. So please, if you decide to put an order in of a value of anything close to $130 or above, please just consider that you can get $100 worth of value for free before you go putting that order in if you join this month. So just keep that into consideration when you're putting that order in, and there's no strings attached. So if you have any questions, please just comment below. Be happy to contact you. Head over to my blog. I've got contact details there. I'd rather you ask questions than to miss out on some amazing deals there. So we're going to stamp with this beautiful stamp here today. So I'll just get a block. And because we're going with a Rich Razzleberry card, we're going to use the Rich Razzleberry ink. So I'm going to get this Rich Razzleberry ink. Now, today and tomorrow, so today is in Australia the 17th of November, and tomorrow being the 18th of November, so up until 11 o'clock or 11:50, but I wouldn't leave it that late, on the 18th of November, we have 15% off all our stamp sets. Sorry, ink sets, ink pads. I'll get this right. 15% off all our ink pads. We have 10% off all our cardstock. So that includes our coloured and our whites, our 12x12s and our standard A4s. And we also have anything in the main catalogue. So it wouldn't include the Eden's Garden because it's a special that's just come out. But anything in our annual catalogue, all the die sets. So these dies here. Any die set in the annual catalogue is 20% off. So when you think about that joining offer of $130, you also are getting the discounts of your ink pads, your cardstock, and your die sets. So it's an amazing time in the next 2 days to consider things like that. So we're just going to stamp off onto this card. We're just going to randomly put a couple on here. We'll just put probably 3 because I'm going to fill the gaps with the smaller ones. So we're just going to do that, and we're going to clean this stamp set. I always have my cleaning chamois. I've just ordered a new one because this one's getting a bit black. Doesn't matter that it's dark, but it's just wet, and you just give your stamp set a good rub on your cleaning chamois, and it comes up. Oh, I've just stuck my fingers in there, so my fingers are now pink, but it comes up nice and clean, so there's no ink on there whatsoever. And if I was to touch this, my fingers are clean as well. So this absorbs everything. So it's got nothing there. So let's put that stamp set back. And then we're going to go for a smaller one. So let's go this one here. So we're going to close this one. And we're going to go for a green. So let's go rich green colour. Let's go our Evening Evergreen. Make this a nice deep rich card. I'll just make sure that's the one we want. So we're just going to do the same. We're going to stamp off, and so this is why we want the paper underneath, because obviously we're getting these little bits over. We don't want them on our desk. We're just going to stamp in the gaps here. And this is a good way to use a stamp set and bring out a different color, because sometimes our paper can be predominantly one color, but you could do this with any color. If you loved pinks, if you loved blues, if you loved greens, you can pick whatever color you wanted to do this stamp set, which is just amazing. So let's just give that one a quick clean and pop it back. And then we're going to grab a smaller one. Now with the smallest one, we're going to give it a little bit of a pop. And we're going to give it some gold. Because there's so much gold in the Evening Evergreen, it inspired me to add some gold to this. So with the gold, we have what's a special ink called Versamer ink. Now this ink here, it's like a sticky ink, and it leaves a residue on the paper, and then we can put some powder on it and emboss it. So I'll show you how we do that. So we always have paper underneath because we want to be able to collect the powder underneath. And I just want to get the static off the paper because I live in a dry area here in Dubbo. We get a lot of static on our papers. It can be different in different areas. You might not have to do this. I have an embossing buddy that Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these anymore, but you can just use like cornstarch in like in a paper, not a paper bag, in like a cloth bag. But you can get these from most craft stores online. But it's always handy just to have one. Hopefully Stampin' Up! Brings them back soon. But I just give my paper a wipe over. Try not to get my fingers on there, so I just put my finger like in the barest corner if possible, and just give it a quick wipe over, and that just gets this static off the page so that the powder's not going to stick to it. Now we're just going to grab this ink, and I'm just going to just going to fill in. Now you won't be able to see it on the paper, but I can see like little wet marks in all these gaps. So you just put as many as you want. I like to, you know, because we're going gold, I like to sort of fill in a bit more. Than I probably would somewhere else. Okay. Just make sure you put your lid back on that so we don't get any gold flecks on this. So what we've got is this gold powder. I'm just going to very carefully lift this up, and I'm just going to pour this gold powder over the card like so. Just over those, mainly over those places where it's all wet. Give it a bit of a tap. Then we're just going to tap it off, and we can see there all those spots where they're gold. Now if we get a little bit, see how we've got like a little line there, I just grab like my picker tool. It's got like a spatula end on there, and I just sort of scrape that off and give it a flick off. That's just the edge of the stamp. I've accidentally got Versamark on the edge of the stamp, and it's obviously come off. You can either, if you don't want to use that, you can use a little paintbrush as well just to rub them off. I just find with a paintbrush it's not as precise. You can't get to the right area, so you just got to be careful you don't accidentally get the wrong area. But paintbrushes are good for like wider areas, so you can just wipe the wider area down. But it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do, just set that aside for a minute. Let's get rid of all this. So if it's on paper, all you can do is tip the paper and literally just tip it straight back into there, because you don't want to waste any of that. We're going to use that again. So let's move that aside, put the lid back on. And what we do with that is we get our heat tool, and we're just going to heat it up. And hopefully you'll be able to see this on the paper, but it'll go from this powder look to this real glossy look. Okay, we just want to check that over. Now, can you see how it's gone glossy and gold? So you'll be able to tell in person a lot better. Make sure that there's no little bits that are missing. I think I've just missed a tiny bit in that corner. There we go. And so there we have it. Just a bit of gold, and we've just used that stamp set perfectly to be able to just add some feature to a plain piece of card. And we've sort of created our own designer series paper, our own beautiful paper there. So let's just move all this out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're just going to assemble the card now. So we're just going to glue it onto the front of this card. So I like to use the liquid glue, the Tombow glue. Now if you use it quite sparingly, just use it, so I've got it on the end now. I just put it a bit around and then a little bit in the middle. You're not going to get bulging or bubbling or anything like that on your card. And it gives you a little bit of a give. Now I always put things down and go, oops, it's too far left or too far right. So at least with the liquid glue, I can move it around with my fingers a little bit before I push it down completely. So this just allows me to have, still got stuff on the table, this just allows me to have a little bit more give when I'm making the card. There we go. Okay, now we want a little bit of a sentiment. Hang on 1 second. Someone's decided to call me at the wrong time. Sorry about that. So we want a little bit of, we want a sentiment to go over our page. Now obviously there's nowhere we can stamp a sentiment on there because we've filled in all the gaps. So we're going to get just like a little strip and add a sentiment. Now what we could do is actually use the die from the Evening Evergreen. Let's have a look at that one. We could use this die here and add it to the middle here. Now you can have the card go this way, you can have it go this way. It's totally up to you. It just depends on what look you're going for. And you just move things around to suit you. I've just realized this gap looks a little gappy just here. So I'm wondering if I want to turn it this way and fill in that gap. But I am going to have a little bit of ribbon as well. So why don't we put it here and add some ribbon. Decisions. Okay, so we're going to die cut this, and what I'm actually going to use is a little scrap piece of the Rich Razzleberry. So with the die cut, we just get the die cut machine. I'll see if I can lift it so that you can see it on the table. So I've just got the die cut and emboss machine. Got new plates coming too. I've worn these ones out. So we just put our piece on there and put our die down. Just move it along so we can probably cut two. And we're just going to push this through. It's just going to come out the other side. Look at that. Push those out of the way. Push those. There we go. So beautiful. Now, as you can see, it's dark. So we're going to do the same effect as what we did before with the embossing. And I'm just going to do it with white powder so it stands out a bit more than the gold. And we might just use a simple sentiment we'll use this hello there. We'll get this hello there and bring back this, and we'll so we're just going to literally just stamp their simple hello there. And instead of the gold, I didn't get it out. Let me find the white. We're going to just use some white. Okay, so this is a perfect example, and I will have to redo this. A perfect example of me not using the embossing buddy. C and Dubbo, I've got really hot heat, and so all my cardstock is static. And see all those gaps? I'd have to sit there with a paintbrush and try and get all this, and see, once I've done that, I accidentally hit the E, and it's just going to be too hard for me to get all that missing. So what I'm going to do is just quickly die cut another one and use my embossing buddy. I'm just going to use the embossing buddy across it like this, and then stamp it. And we'll try that again. I might just stamp it this way, I think. That's the way I want it. That's much better. So now all I've done is just get rid of this line that was on the edge of my stamp because I pushed down too hard. Much better. And we'll just heat that up. Perfect, nice and easy, all done. So I'll just pour this back in. So we're not all perfect, we all make mistakes. It's part of card making and crafting, having fun with it all. So we'll just push those to the side now, and we'll pop our sentiment on our card. Where did I pop my card? Under here. And we're just going to add a little bit of ribbon to give it a pop. So we've got this beautiful chevron weave ribbon in the Evening Evergreen. So I'll just grab my snips and just cut that off. I think I need my new snips. I've got one pair of sticky snips and one pair of non-sticky snips, and these must be my sticky snips. So I'm just going to fold it over like that. I'm not going to do anything fancy. Here we go. And I'm going to grab my glue dots. So your glue dots are really handy because they just help you. You don't need anything but one little glue dot. Just pop that there, so that holds that together. And we're just going to hold this over here. So that's about where we want it. So we'll just grab another glue dot. Now you can just pop this where on here, and you just grab the back of it and push it on the glue dot, and it will come off, and then pop it where you want it, and it'll pop straight down there. And then to give this little hello there some dimension, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. Now, I love my dimensionals. I use way too many all the time. Just peel those little stickers off. And I'm just going to stick that hello there, just there like that. And to finish this card off, every card always needs a little bit of bling. Can't go wrong with a little bit of bling. So we'll just add some of these little dimensionals. So I just pick them up with my picker tool and I just pop them wherever you feel like popping them. Now, there's no particular rule with dimensionals, but with embellishments. I knew that I would get there eventually, but odd numbers always seems to work better. So you either go with 3 or 5 or 7. I just find that odd numbers seem to make it better. But there you go. So that card can be, you can make it simple. You could have just done stamping, and if you didn't have gold embossing, just add another color. Same here, if you don't have a die cut, just cut out a rectangle and stamp hello there in another color. Add a bit of ribbon and some bling, and you've got a beautiful card. So I made the same card. Here I just used the soft succulent stamp instead of evening evergreen with some soft succulent ribbon, and I just did a plain rectangle there. And then right here I've used a little bit more detail. I've cut out the middle. I've done something similar with the gold embossing, but I've added more ribbon and I've used the die cut to cut this beautiful wreath out, and I just trimmed it and spread it apart. So there's so many different ways to use one stamp set, one suite, to make so many different cards. So by all means, you know, this month, if you're thinking of purchasing this suite for $144, please get in contact, because you could have this suite plus another $90 worth of product plus free shipping for just $130 with no strings attached. But you also then continue to have a 20% discount for at least the next 5 months. So please be in contact with me if you have any questions. I'd love to have you on my team. But it was nice to craft with you today, and I hope you head over to our Facebook and Instagram, like our pages, follow us on Pinterest, and we'll see you again next week with another live. Bye!